Shalom Saints, Karen Kambuli here, author of the book The Bride of Jesus, my latest offering. It's been launched. It's been a great and exciting journey. I have met interesting people. It's been out there in the media. And let me just take this few minutes just to say a few words about this book and why I got to write it and what's the message. We'll talk about it in many other series that I'll do in the future. It is a book that challenged my thinking. It challenged my faith. It challenged me. I had to ask myself, if the Lord were to just show up today, what kind of a person is going to find in me? What kind of a believer am I? What kind of a Christian am I? What kind of a follower am I? And this is the question that this book, The Bride of Jesus, is asking you and is asking me. If Christ were to come today, what will he find? Will he be happy with what he will find? Will we be there gloriously waiting for him, arrayed in our beautiful robe, spotless? Will he find us spotless? Will he find us triumphant? Will he find us joyous? Will he find us at peace in the midst of a storm? Or will he find us defeated, discouraged? Will he find us abused and misused in the church? Will he find us without hope? Will he find us sitting and swimming in sin? What kind of a church is Jesus Christ going to find? We know that the book of Revelation tells us about the future, but we are the future in our current state that the Bible was talking about as well. So if you were to come, the Lord today, you were to come today, what will he find? That is the essence of the message, the bride of Jesus. It takes the bride, earthly bride, just as I am, and it runs parallel with the idea of Christ and the church being the bride and the bridegroom. So as a married woman, one day I walked down the aisle, met my husband, we said some vows, and we were married and we lived and we're still living, as they say, happily ever after, of course. Now, when you have accepted Christ, you are like a woman that has accepted a proposal from a man, of course. And when you have accepted that proposal, you begin to plan, you begin to think of the future together, you begin to talk about this and that, you begin to set some ground rules, some values, some principles for your marriage. You begin to plan the event itself, the wedding day. In Revelation chapter 19, verse 7 to 8, we are told about this day, the day that the Lord will come and there will be a wedding feast. It says, let us be glad and rejoice and give him glory, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his wife has made herself ready. Are you ready, child of God? That's a question. Are you ready for the coming of the Lord? And to her it was granted to be arrayed in fine linen, clean and bright. Will he find us clean and bright? What kind of linen are we going to be wearing? And it says, for the fine linen is the righteous act of the saints. Now I had to ask, will he find us fine? Will he find our linen fine? Will he find us arrayed in fine linen? Or will he find us arrayed in despair, in bitterness, in anger, in envy, in jealousy, and a whole lot of things that we find right inside the church of God? What kind of a bride are we going to be? If we look at the relationship between husband and wife, the marriage between a husband and a wife, it is a fitting analogy, and it is a shadow of what is to come. We are actually honored as husbands and wives, As women and men, we are actually honored to have been entrusted with this a role of shadowing what is to come. Now, the question is, are we representing the marriage institution well on earth? And are we representing Christ well as believers? This book is about the church, but it takes the role of a husband and a wife. It takes the role of a bride and a bridegroom. It asks, what kind of a bride and bridegroom are we going to be? When Jesus comes, what will he find? We're going to go through quite a few issues that I've raised in the book as we go on and talk about this book. But I urge you that you get yourself a copy as we prepare for the coming Lord. Shalom.